to write a song that all the world would sing, and your dreams came true. Now imagine experiencing a life-altering health challenge with mounting medical bills that your share of royalties from that hit song can barely cover. The year? 1970. The songwriter? Nadine McKinnon. The recording artist? Donny Hathaway. The song?
Hang all the mistletoe, I'm gonna get to know you better. This Christmas.
A match made in heaven. Nadine McKinnon and Donny Hathaway. To date, over 300 artists have covered This Christmas. Unfortunately, because of industry practices and standards in the early 70s, Nadine McKinnon failed to protect her interests and did not benefit financially to the extent she should have. As we know, history is littered with countless untold stories of the accomplishments of hidden black female figures. For over 50 years now, we've been inspired by this heartfelt Christmas classic. Due to a sudden debilitating stroke, Nadine McKinnon is in need of our help to assist with massive medical bills not covered by our insurance. Please show your love to this inspirational woman and writer of our beloved classic. And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for you and Nadine. Please contribute as your heart leads you. All donations are welcome. Go right now to the GoFundMe page for Nadine Scott McKinnon or head to the KBLA 1580 website. On behalf of KBLA Talk 1580, thank you in advance for doing your part to honor a true songwriting legend.
And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, yo. Yeah, yo. Moo la la. Yeah, yo. Better have my money. Y'all should know me well enough. Better have my money. Please don't call me on my blood. Pay me what you want me. Ballin' bigger than LeBron. Give me your money. Who y'all think y'all frontin' on? Like blah, blah, blah. Louis 13 and it's all on me. You just bought a shot. Kamikaze if you think that you gon' knock me off the top. Your wife in the backseat of my brand new foreign car. Don't act like you forgot. I called a shot. Like blah, blah, blah. Pay me what you want me. Don't act like you forgot. Better have my money.
Welcome in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Taraji P, Henson. Better have her money. We're going to get into that, plus a whole lot more. This is the show, of course, where we hit all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. I am your host, Jill Munroe. So I want you to get comfortable, get relaxed, because as we do every night, we have a great deal to get into this evening. I hope you're feeling festive. If you are checking us out on YouTube because you want the visual experience to go along with this audio experience, you will see I'm in full Christmas attire. Look like a Christmas tree. It's cute. It's a theme, right? At any rate, we are going to get into these trending topics and headlines for the night. If at any point you want to join in the conversation, make sure you hit us up, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I, of course, am at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Hit me up, say hello. Now, on to the topics. Tonight, we're going to get into Taraji P. Henson. If you've seen several clips circulating on social media, Taraji is talking about something that she's been talking about actually for years now, the pay disparity for black women in Hollywood and the struggles that she has had to endure even as an Academy Award nominated actress. So we're going to get into her comments and comments of the past, this topic, what we think we can do to help as the audience. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about Byron Allen. He has resubmitted his bid for BET. He's up the dollar amount. And with an announcement coming that Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery are talking about a merger, is the best option at this point for BET to roll out with Byron Allen. We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk Keefe D. He says his confession regarding Tupac was just entertainment. It was just for his book, that it shouldn't be taken seriously. So we're going to get into his statement. Of course, we have a whole lot more for you in the third hour. We have an interview with Dr. Simone Whitmore from Married to Medicine. So we're going to get into that a little bit. Are you guys fans? I know that we talked about Dr. Jackie, of course, last night. We know that Phaedra is now on the show. We had an interview with Phaedra a few weeks back. So, we're just continuing on that theme. Of course, before we get into those topics, we have a couple of conversation starters for you. Things that we can't fully get into, but you need to be aware of. So it's not Thursday, but we can say way back Wednesday. I have a flashback for you. Today on December 20th, 1981, Dreamgirls, the original Broadway play, opened. It starred Jennifer Holliday, Cheryl Lee Ralph, Loretta Devine, Ben Harney, Clavon Derricks, Vondi Curtis Hall, and Oba Bambatude. And we know that it was remade in, I think that was 2005, 2006 with Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson and Eddie Murphy. Eddie was robbed, by the way. He should have gotten an Academy Award for his performance in Dreamgirls. That's just a side. At any rate, happy anniversary to that. Also, it continues on. Another artist is going to be opening a Las Vegas residency. T-Pain has just announced that he will be having a residency in Las Vegas. Now, I believe it's just for Super Bowl weekend, but Super Bowl in Vegas, I don't know if you guys remember back in, I think it was 2007, it was 2007, yes, when NBA All-Star was in Vegas, and that was a whole thing. It was a different thing, and that kind of sort of opened up the path to where we are now with all of the different sports franchises there. And of course, Vegas has been convention haven for a very long time, but it's taken on a new level with professional sports and live entertainment in the recent years. So T-Pain will be throwing his hat into the ring. He announced his full speed toward 2024, and you can catch his show at Zouk Nightclub. So first show, February 8th, Super Bowl weekend. It's going to be lit, right? When we come forward, we're going to get into these trending topics and headlines. It's Wednesday. Our Keep It Real friend, Trent the Artist, is in the building, so we're going to talk to him, plus a whole lot more. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
From our heart to your heart. Happy holidays to you and the ones you love from KBLA Talk 1580. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Did you know there's a way to outsmart COVID if you get it? Now there are medicines that can treat COVID, whether or not you've been vaccinated, which is great news, especially if you're over 50. If taken in the first 5 days of having symptoms, COVID medicines can help stop the illness from getting serious. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to learn more about COVID medicines. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. And of course, it's Wednesday, so I am not alone. I am joined by our Keep It Real friend, Trent Jackson, Trent the artist, in the building. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays. I, too, am festive.
I know. We're having our own sort of ugly
Christmas party.
Christmas party. Mm-hmm. Ugly Christmas sweater.
Our Christmas outfit party.
Yeah. We're in the spirit.
We've got candy and everything.
I know. We need candy canes, though. That's what we're missing.
I don't need any candy canes.
You don't? I like the sweetheart flavored ones. The cherry ones.
Now those are my favorite.
Those are amazing.
So what I'll do is I'll hit up a local store like a CVS or something and get them on clearance because I don't have a Christmas tree.
I have a small one this year. I haven't, this is the second year in a row. Yeah. I haven't put up a tree. Usually I'm very decorative. Some years I have 2 trees and then the little other trees in certain areas. But yeah, this year we just went kind of small.
Yeah, I understand.
Still in the spirit though.
Yeah, totally.
So, listen.
What's going on in the world? I haven't watched any news. I've been so busy. Sun up to sundown, I've been working, so.
Okay, well,
I don't
that's
know
how you
anything that's going on right now.
Okay, well, we enjoy that, right? So, are you gonna head out to Vegas for any of these residencies? It's T-Pain.
Definitely not T-Pain.
Jodeci, Wu-Tang, New Edition. New Edition sold out in 7 hours.
Now that Jodeci, I might be interested in to hear them howl into the moon for hours on end. I'm for that because they were popping at a time where I couldn't really go to a Jodeci concert.
Oh, I went to some Jodeci concerts.
Yeah, Linda was not allowing me at a Jodeci concert in '91.
Baby, I was at
not at 8 years old.
Jodeci concerts.
You know, I was at 8 years. At what concerts I was at as a youth? Definitely Janet Jackson, definitely New Edition. But every summer, my mother forced me to go. Back then, it was the Playboy Jazz Festival and the JVC Jazz Festival. So I spent lots of some time in the summer at the Hollywood Bowl, which is probably why I still go as an adult to this day.
But the Playboy Jazz Festival was a thing. It was like a hot ticket.
That was
it was very classy.
Yes,
Your upper
the ice chest
there.
And all that, and it was
You had a good time. That's when they still had wine coolers and stuff.
Yes,
people would have their Bartles and James and whatnot. That's what those were called, right?
Yes, totally. My mother has a great story about me drinking a wine cooler at 2.
At 2 years old?
I was sleeping in the crib. She got in the shower thinking she could make a mad dash to shower while I was asleep. Me being me, at 2, I got out of the crib, walked to the refrigerator, explored to see what I can get, and the wine cooler was appealing to me because I was, short. It was probably on the lower shelf, and She said she got out of the shower, she went to the crib to check on me, and she was mortified because I was gone. And she walked to the kitchen and I was passed out on the floor.
No way.
1984, I'm sorry, a mess.
No
Yep.
way.
Child endangerment. We're going to get her all these years
later. So listen, obviously we're about to start another week of travel for a lot of people, right?
Yes.
So TSA last month screened nearly 30 million passengers during the 12-day Thanksgiving holiday period, right? It broke the record for most passengers in a single day on November 26th. And on that day, they screened more than almost 3 million people, right? So we expect it to be that busy this weekend and over the next week.
That totally deters me from getting on the plane this weekend because I was literally going to travel on Sunday night or Monday afternoon.
Well, should you do so, here's a couple of tips to make it easier for you.
I'm mortified already because I hate Chicago airports.
Starting to think about it. So pack smart. Get there
always.
early.
I mastered that.
These are the TSA tips. Bring your acceptable ID. If you got clear.
Yes, I definitely
pre-check,
do.
all of that.
Yep.
You know.
I don't do lines.
So if you have gifts, make sure they are unwrapped.
Nope. I am the gift.
Because they will be inspected. So know that. Find out if the airport you're going to or the terminal you're going to be in has new screening technology.
They don't. It's an old airport.
It's the old airport.
Mm-hmm.
You already checked.
Mm-hmm. I was just there.
You can text or direct message, ask TSA if you have questions.
I'm not doing that. I
don't
want them in my phone.
You can call ahead to schedule passenger support if that's something you
definitely not waiting on the phone.
And, listen, make it a great one. Leave early. Be prepared. It's going to be drama.
And get clear because who does lines? And we're definitely not calling TSA to wait on the phone for anything. We've got to call United and wait on their customer service line too.
Clear is the move.
It is.
So Kanye West is selling his Malibu home that is still in various stages of construction. He gutted it. It's the one that he's being sued by his former project manager who was overseeing the remodel.
Is this the whole concrete thing with the no windows?
Correct. And he ripped out all of the plumbing and the electrical and, the HVAC. Just basically tore everything out from the inside of the house. So it's kind of just a structure. But he is putting it on the market for $53 million.
And somebody's going to buy it.
Somebody's going to buy it. I mean, it's in Malibu, so I'm sure it's prime location. It's a lot of space, right? A lot of place to set it up.
An empty structure. I want to know what the purpose behind all of that was.
I mean, I think he gets intrigued and he wants to create art and, he's into architecture. Whatever his whims are, he goes and kind of dives into it and tries to transform and, I guess he's just being creative. What you think?
Kanye West, I'm sorry, I want to get this quote right. He is superior to Taylor Swift and Beyonce, so that's all that matters. That's all that matters in this conversation on this show.
Well, listen.
Always, don't forget.
Speaking of 53 million, right?
Oh, tell me more.
Well, it's not really that number. I'm just saying millions, big bags, right? Taraji P. Henson, she's doing a lot of press for The Color Purple musical, drops on Christmas Day. What's the look?
Go ahead, because I just start connecting dots in my head just about stuff.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So, Kendi's laughing. Well, she recently, a few clips one from her interview with Gayle King, another clip from an interview that she did on a panel with, I believe it was Variety. The interviewer's name is Angelique. Shout out to her. See her a lot on red carpets. So she talked about the pay disparity and wanting to leave the industry because she felt that she worked so hard, worked for a lot of things at the height of Empire. She didn't have, brand deals, other things that other stars of equal nature on shows have had that she still had to fight to prove her worth as far as pay and other benefits that come along with that. She said even she almost passed on the role as Shug in the Color Purple musical. I'm assuming because the coin did not match the role. And so
I feel like you're baiting me to talk.
I'm setting up the clip in the scenario.
You.
Okay. And I mean, obviously, like I said, she talked about this, I think, in 2015, 2016. Yeah. We have seen actress Viola Davis has spoken out about this. We have seen actresses in the past discuss it, from Eartha Kitt and some of the things that she's battled.
And I keep hearing Monique's name ring in my head because
a lot of people bring up Monique.
Yes, but only because all I keep thinking about is Precious and what was said about, and I'm like, why is there's always some type of payroll discrepancy or disparage something
I think
with Oprah in these films?
Well,
like,
no.
Like, no,
I think that's a different thing.
Okay, right. I'm just trying to make sure. That's what I was like,
no.
What's going on here?
There's no connection.
Okay.
I mean, two different things with Monique, and that was a Lee Daniels production. But Monique's thing was she wanted to be paid additionally for social media. And at that time, that was considered, and still is now, but there are more rules written in, probably based upon this and what happened with Kevin Hart. Don't know if you guys remember a few years back when there were some emails leaked from Sony and conversations about this, where Kevin was charging them for his social media time. And in some ways it made sense, but he was in a position to do so.
Yes.
But now they have included those duties as part of the press runs.
Yeah, probably because of these things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, sort of different than it was with this in whatever the budget was, and what one would think an Academy Award nominated former lead of a TV show maybe should be offered. Maybe there was some difference. She didn't get into specifics, so we can't really speculate on.
But the fact that you're even considering this for this role, and you even mentioning it's like all right, what's really happening? Even after all these conversations, you would, especially with black executives or somewhere in the mix of the production, you would think that there's a little bit more, I don't know, fight for the cast, especially if they're predominantly black, and so these issues won't happen. It's particularly when the older executives that are more experienced have been through this already. Like, why would you want the cycle to keep persisting and then have situations where actresses bring it up and you're just kind of like, woo, don't talk about that right now. We're impressed, and then we have bigger issues. So what's happening?
I mean, it's an interesting conversation, one that we continue to run up against, where we see that black women in their stories are marginalized. Oh, well, this is niche. Oh, well, it won't play well here. Oh, all of these different excuses. And then time and time again, we see projects and film, TV shows, various things that take off and change the culture. And it's always looked at as, oh, well, that was a fluke. It was a one-trick pony. It was,
it's not going to happen again, so don't get used to it.
Yeah. And we see it time and time again in different forms and fashion. Like, you can think about the Sexy Red. She was just named #1 as far as Rolling Stone for, I think, Song of the Year.
That's wild.
It's wild, but here's the thing. Here is, for all intents and purposes, a regular black woman, right? A regular black young woman.
Yeah.
Living her life. And somehow,
typical of the times,
she drops something that catches a hold, and here we are.
Listen.
But let's listen to Taraji's comments, and then we'll get into more of what you're saying and some of what the feedback has been from other artists, and we'll talk about some of the people that have spoken out in the past and what they had to say.
Are you thinking about it? I'm just tired of working so hard being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't mathing. And when you start working a lot, you know, you have a team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up, there's a whole entire team behind us. They have to get paid. So when you hear someone saying, oh, such and such made $10 million, no, that's not, that didn't make it to their account. Know that off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50%. That's right. Okay? So do the math. Now we have $5 million. Your team is getting 30% or whatever your team is off of what you grossed. Sometimes not more. After what Uncle Sam took. Now do the math. So I'm only human, and it seems every time I do something and I break another glass ceiling, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again, like I never did what I just did, and I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
I get that.
It wears on you, you know? Because what does that mean? What is that telling me?
What is it telling me? Yeah. And what does it tell me? Yeah.
You know? And if I can't fight for them coming up behind me, then what the am I doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So listen, you know, I see part of the problem with this is a lot of people feel like these are champagne problems, you know? That
I don't think that at all. I when I heard that, I empathize with her.
I empathize with her.
I think
100%.
I think she speaks for not even people she speaks for all black people. All black people are tired, no matter what level on the economy scale you on. So I felt that from the depths of my soul. Just going with my corporate experiences, you know, that applies to all of us.
But here we are in the chat. For example, Terry says Google said that Taraji's net worth is $25 million. Okay. She just explained to you.
It's never that much money.
It's never that much. That's not what's in the bank.
And then a lot of the times they get a lot of celebrities get sidelined with their deals getting exposed. Oh, 30 million. They never agree to those things. They just release that kind of information just for fanfare sometimes or whatever.
Well,
and it's not that.
We're going to move on from that. That's a pause. Even if it is that they get taxed at a higher rate. Like she said, they have publicists, lawyers, stylists, all of that. It costs a lot to look good. People will clown you if you come out and your wig is askew, your face isn't beat, you don't have designer down. We aren't going to accept someone that doesn't look like a star. Right. Because if they look like us, at least in the latter stages, then we don't want to relate to that. But we like it when they're on the climb. It's a weird thing,
it's
right?
It's very weird.
It happens. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into Gentle Killer in the YouTube chat. He says Taraji P. Henson would be more mentally stable if she had a husband, but in Hollywood, ... Oh, I got a mouthful for you, but I want you to explain further as Urban Spencer adds.
Urban Sister is coming at it, yeah.
We want to know what you mean. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. News and Sports is up next.
Your wife in the backseat of my brand new foreign car. Don't act like you forgot. I called a shots. Like blah, blah, blah. Pay me what you want me. Don't act like you forgot. Better have my money. Better have my money. Pay me what you want it.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A Chicago man whose murder conviction was recently overturned is free after spending more than 12 years behind bars. Darian Harris walked out of the Cook County Jail after prosecutors decided not to retry him in a deadly shooting at a Southside gas station in 2011. The decision comes after his conviction was based in part on the testimony of an eyewitness who turned out to be legally blind. Harris, who is black, has long maintained his innocence. One of the Trump co-defendants in Fulton County's election interference case is looking for a new legal team. WSB-TV reports lawyers for Trevion Cootie have filed the paperwork to withdraw as her attorneys. Cootie, a former publicist for Kanye West, is accused of trying to get a Georgia election worker to confirm former President Trump's voter fraud claims. No reason was given for the attorney's move to withdraw from the case. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Light up your holidays during Jungle Bells. Enjoy nightly entertainment, festive treats, and interactive fun at the San Diego Zoo on select dates, December 9th through January 1st. Proudly supported by California Coast Credit Union.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black. Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Cover California is a free service from the state that's already helped millions of people like you get and pay for health insurance. With financial help to lower the cost of health coverage, you could get a quality health plan for less than $10 a month. Every plan covers preventive care, doctor visits, emergency care, and more. If you have questions, we're here to help every step of the way. Cover California, this way to health insurance. Enroll by December 31st at coveredca.com.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with one of the panelists, the owner of Kids Love. Take a listen.
So Kids Love, KIDSLUV, is a first-to-market zero-sugar, vitamin-enhanced functional beverage for kids.
So the zero sugar is really important because if not, the sugar gets on the teeth, it can cause cavities. So as a mom, I love this vitamins and hydration in one. Tell us what's happening here with Chase Bank today.
So I would say, I think what Chase is trying to do is create a community actually for entrepreneurs, a place where people can go. They have the space to do it. It's a beautiful space. And to be able to have these conversations. There are so many benefits to being a women-owned and certified business, from a standpoint of getting into stores, not paying the slotting fees of what it takes to be in stores. So I think Chase is trying to bring awareness to a lot of the things that people just don't know about, that not only the bank can help, but outside of the bank, their relationships can help create.
That's beautiful. And I know, this is how we build equity in communities of color, is kind of spreading that information and that knowledge. So thank you for being here today and doing your part and letting these women know that it is possible.
For KBLA 1580, I'm Maisha Cairo in the community with Chase.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's real, it's real.
Run it up.
It's real.
I love this song.
Oh, we back. Shorty, what up? Come on.
Shorty, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my ice. Now let's say you owe me something.
Yeah, owe me back like you owe your tax. Owe me back like 40 acres to blacks. Pay me back when you shake it like that, girl.
Shorty, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my ice. Now let's say you
Yeah, owe me back like you owe your rent. Owe me back like it's money I spent. Pay me back when you shake it again. Dawn all the time with all the shine.
You know, we had to let Nas ride a little bit.
This reminds me of high school.
Somebody owed you something?
No, it came out in high school. My senior
I know,
year
I'm
of
just
high
joking,
school.
I'm just joking.
But somebody did owe me something.
Look, this was my joint. Yeah, I was in the club. Doing it big. Ow. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we're getting into this. Wait, Andy has something to say.
Gotta ask you a question about your club activities, Jill.
Okay.
So you obviously danced in the club. You danced with men.
Depends on the time period. You know, that kind of started fading out.
Well, when you was dancing with men at the club, how did you like a man to approach you for a dance?
What do you mean?
Walk up on her and just start dancing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how would you like a man to approach you for a dance?
Don't just walk up on me and like start slanging things around.
Slanging? What you mean?
I mean, you know, some guys have different dance moves. They might get real pelvic thrust with it. I'm short. I don't need your pelvic area on my upper forearm or stuff like that because you like trying to pop it. I'm short. Right? So you moving around, anything could happen. Don't just come up and grab me. I don't know you like that, sir. You're gonna have to give me a bit of distance. You know, guys always think, oh, we dance and that means I can touch him. No, you're a stranger. You are a stranger. Let us evolve to that. You can't just rush into some things like that. Not with me, at least. Right? I'm not saying, you know, I don't know. You can't rush into that because men are in violation, right? They play games all day. No disrespect. Some of y'all probably mean nothing but a simple dance move. Some of y'all are, you know, back in the day, out of pocket, right? You in the club, sometimes
back in the day, it's still out of pocket.
I know, but I can't speak on what happens in there now because I have no clue.
Still out of pocket, more so than ever.
Okay, I'm just saying. So yeah, just like, hey, what's up? Like you could maybe get your little two-step or your little move in front of me, not too flashy because we're not gonna have a reenactment of breaking on the dance floor. At least not yet. We could work our way up to that, right? But we can't start with that. So I don't know. What?
Nah, it's just funny. Just, you know, when you talked about you at the club, it just reminded me of my club days and just, you know, how I used to.
Did you just walk up and start dancing on a girl?
Well, you know, my whole thing was I would come from behind.
And then she was freaking.
And he seems like one of the types.
Hold on. I would come from behind.
Wow, that says a lot.
Grab her hip. You feel me? And kind of two-step as I get close, right?
Okay, Quagmire.
I'm not touching though. I ain't touched her yet though.
Okay,
I mean, my hand touched her.
But you're not putting body parts on her.
I'm not putting my body part just yet.
That's what I'm talking. Just yet.
And then of course
you wait till they get the signal, right?
I get that 180 look back for like 5 seconds. We make eye contact. I get the nod. All right, we get it cracking.
Yeah, that works. That is acceptable for some. But you said the important thing. You did not put body parts on her until you got the nod.
Oh, and the second, well, actually, the first important thing for me would have been the eye contact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because, sometimes it's not cool.
Yeah.
And we don't want to see, might have to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, listen, this YouTube chat,
I'm staying out of that tonight.
Are going.
That's that Mercury retrograde chat.
So, Gentle Killer, am I saying it right or is it Gentile? I'm not sure.
Gentile Killer. Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's appropriate name. Yeah, that's not appropriate, right?
That's what it looks like. But why wouldn't it be?
No.
It's biblical, isn't it?
I don't know. Is that appropriate? Okay, we'll just see. So his explanation as to why Taraji would be more mentally stable if she had a husband is, you have that shoulder to cry on with your mate instead of crying out to the world. Never let them see you sweat. Urban Spencer says, I'm sure Taraji has a village and her husband doesn't automatically equate to an emotionally available ear to listen or shoulder to cry on. Point. Pretty Brown Mimi says, well, if we're going to go there, I don't need a man, but I do want a good man to share my life with. Gentile Killer says, that's just a basic humanity. You have a mate for support. And Urban Spinster says, the problem is that there's so many people who don't know what real partnership is. It's not just a warm body. Kendi joined the chat. He had to say, Taraji can't talk about community when you practice individuality. She hasn't said anything on behalf of Jonathan Majors, Kanye, or any of the black actors that have been put through the ringer. But she has spoken up for other black actresses. She has paved a way or made phone calls. So maybe she hasn't responded in ways that you would resonate with, but to say that she hasn't done anything for the community and for other actors or actresses is untrue. So we got to be fair with that. And also, sometimes there's a lot of conversation that's happening behind the scenes that we aren't necessarily privy to. As a matter of fact, Robin Thede, who had her Black Lady sketch show on HBO, she mentioned how when she was a stand-in on All of Us, Taraji was a guest star on that show, and how Taraji was so kind, so sweet, didn't just treat her as someone just there. And when she saw her years later on a red carpet and Robin had her show, she said Taraji was like, I'm thrilled for you, I support you. So she very much does that.
And sometimes people can't really, in the industry, they can't publicly support you and say what they want to say on particular platforms, but that's why we're always kind of surprised at who forges a relationship with who, because it's the individual connection and the behind the scenes that really holds people together. And you always don't know about those connections.
Facts. Andy? Nope. Okay. So we have more chat because it's bubbling, right? And Kendi continues, and if Taraji thinks she's so popular, then put your money where your mouth is. Go fund your own project and prove it. She won't, because she knows she ain't hot like that. Youngster. So here's the thing. Taraji does have a production company where she has produced and directed projects, but you also need additional funding sometimes so that it can reach the masses, so that people such as yourself understand that she has projects that are out there that she is producing and funding from her own production company. So check number 2, she does that. Let's see what else we got here. Hilary Swank got paid $2,500 for her Oscar-winning role in $1 Million Baby. She never complained. Taraji is not a star at all, and she's still getting work. Well, here's the thing about Hilary Swank. That was an independent film. Taraji is also taking less for independent films. She was nominated for an Academy Award for Benjamin Button, and I think Brad Pitt had to fight to get her more money. The amount of money she got from the role, I can't remember, was something like $150,000. Something really on the low end. And if we want to go into numbers, this is from 7 years ago, but the most recent study I could find about the pay disparity between black and white actresses, this was about television in the comedy genre. Out of 33 actors, only 5 were women of color. Mind you, I said women of color, not just black. And the only black woman on the list was Tracee Ellis Ross. And at that time, she was making $80,000 per episode on Blackish, while Kaylee Kuko, Jim Parsons, and Johnny Galecki of Big Bang Theory were all making $1 million per episode.
I was getting ready to say 80,000 an episode.
Correct.
That is such a low number for network TV.
Correct. This was 6 years
ago. That was
ABC,
right?
Yes, this was in 2017. So as far as network dramas go, Kerry Washington, Viola Davis, and Taraji were the only women that made the list. So of the three, Kerry and Viola were estimated to be making $250,000 an episode, while Taraji for Empire was estimated to be making $175,000. Lauren Graham and Alexis Bledel, who were on the Gilmore Girls, this is the Gilmore Girls reboot at that time, were making $750,000 an episode, and Mark Harmon was making $525,000 an episode on NCIS. So we're not just talking about small amounts of money. And I know in the grand scheme of things, their salaries are much greater than the average person. But still, black women are paid 64 cents on the dollar for every dollar a white man earns. So,
but even still, those numbers are very low numbers for network TV. And 250, might I add, is at the bottom of the scale. That should be minimum. Right. So Viola Davis and Kerry White were making minimum.
They were being underpaid as well.
$80,000 is like, what are you kidding me? What? Diana Ross's daughter? What?
Right.
What? All right, get Barry Gordy on the line right now for negotiations because this has got to stop.
Oh my goodness. So Gentile Killer also says, producing a strong, cohesive family structure should be our main focus. How can we fight on a political level without the numbers? So he's talking about the family unit. Listen, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, what would the family unit do? And she has a family unit. It may not be the nuclear structure, but she has a support system that are there for her. But in this particular area, her having a husband does not mean that she was going to be paid more. And for a lot of women in Hollywood, let's face it, the ones that have dated down. Taraji was engaged to a long time to an ex-NFL player that was a businessman. He ended up cheating on her. We know what happened with Sherry Shepherd. We've talked about what's happened with Mary J. Blige. We've seen other female celebrities in the same position. So I'm not sure if that is exactly the answer to this particular problem.
It's not the answer. I don't think people in the industry should date at all.
Well, you got to date. People like.
Yeah, you don't have to, but it's not really a conducive place for a healthy relationship. If you really want, you just know that you got to either be very quiet about it or expect high levels of toxicity because it's one end of the spectrum. It can't be in the middle. You can't. It's very hard to do that.
Andy,
I know we talked about it yesterday. Tubi is owned by black people.
No, it's owned by Fox.
Got it. It's owned by Fox. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, there are opportunities there, and people are putting projects there. I mean, that's the thing. Don't think that you aren't saying something. And this is no disrespect to anyone. You're not saying something eye-opening by saying, produce your own stuff. Do you honestly think these people with 20 years in the business have not thought of producing their own projects, have not attempted to produce their own projects? The support isn't there for them in the same way when they are independent as when they are with a major network or studio behind them. That's just the reality of the business.
And I hate to say it, I feel that we need to move towards not being dependent on these major platforms. I get it, though these major platforms, they give you the reach that you need in order to make money, but time after time after time, you hear stories about people getting robbed. And I just feel like, in order to take real power back, we got to go independent. It's going to be a longer grind. It's probably gonna, it's gonna be more struggling days, but I just think you'll have more of a peace of mind, and when you eventually get to that point, there's not gonna be any money issues.
So I feel you on that. I think there has to be a balance. I think there's a two-prong approach. There are some benefits to both sides, and I think that we shouldn't cut ourselves off from either. So Pretty Brown Mimi says because of the suggestion that Taraji should be speaking up for Jonathan Majors, etc. Pretty Brown Mimi says now black women got to speak up for Jonathan Majors. Why? Jonathan Majors and Kanye haven't dated black women in years, allegedly, but now we have to speak up for them. Gentile Killer says maybe Taraji P. Henson made some bad decisions regarding finances when she was young, and now she's starting to see the consequences. But see, you're focusing on a smaller thing, and it's bigger than that. It's not if she is making, because that's not the implication here, that she is not being smart with her finances. It is that she is not being paid what her worth. And even in the money that she is making, it takes a lot to maintain star power in Hollywood. You do not accept someone, and how many black stars can we see going down the street, and if their wig is not laid, if they are not pulled together, they're going to be clowned, they're going to be talked about, they're not going to be respected as much.
I love stuff like that. I love seeing people just real and disheveled.
I mean, but here's the thing, it still costs to be a celebrity.
Yeah, it
still
does.
Costs for the appearances and so forth. So I don't know, I don't know what she has done as far as her finances, but I don't think that is relevant to the particular issue that we're talking about. One more comment before we go to break. Miss Taraji deserves more. Can we support her and others on various platforms and movies on our own channel? She has earned our respect and her check. That's from Thomas Outlaw. Listen, it's a challenge, and we are continuing. We are right here on an independently black-owned station. You know, it's a lot to it. You have to walk in the shoes as well as support these things. That's why when people ask you to hit that like, follow, subscribe button, do it. They're not just doing it because they want to look cool on social media. These are the things it takes to fund these independent projects that you want people to put out. People make fun of a lot of things about the quality or how things come together. It takes funds to do that, you know, and we have to be realistic about that. The entertainment that we're so used to getting at little to no cost still costs someone to put all of these things together, and we have to be honest about that. When we come forward, we'll have more on this topic, more trending topics and headlines. You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate you. Thank you for turning us on this year. Happy holidays.
Wow! Mommy's kissing Santa Claus!
This open enrollment season, LA Care Covered is offering health plans starting at $0 a month. Each plan provides benefits including $0 preventive services, 24/7 telehealth services, around-the-clock nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, and more. Shop and compare premium silver plans with $0 deductibles to help meet your health goals. Ready to shop? Visit us online at lacarecovered.org for a commitment-free instant quote, or speak with us directly at 855-222-4239. LA Care Covered, your affordable path to wellness.
Day one, the hardest day. The day you hear,
this is a type of blood cancer.
But day one is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
To learn more and get help on day 2, day 28, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Nissan has a car for every driver who wants more. More action. More fun. More guts. More head turns. More adventure. More electric. At Nissan, more is all we do.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Okay. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday.
But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. This topic is, struck a nerve.
With everybody.
I know. It's a lot happening. Pretty Brown.
You know what this is? I'm sorry. This is like when Tyler Perry said what he said about black women making more money and having to settle
down.
Yeah. It's very similar.
Pretty Brown Mimi says, black men, can y'all just support us black women? And Quantum Blackness 2.0 says, so Ados was right about everything. Explain your statement, Quantum Blackness. What were they right about? What did they say? Let's get deeper into it. So what are your final thoughts on this? Do you think that, again, this is something Lena Horne spoke out about things like this back in the day. I mentioned Eartha Kitt. These are not new conversations per se, right? So even when we bring up Monique,
You know what I say about all this? There is a song sang by the legendary Layla Hathaway, and one of the lyrics says,
"Baby, baby, don't cry."
Nope.
No, I'm just playing.
That's my favorite Layla song, but one of the songs lyrics says, "The more you know, the more things stay the same."
I think things change. I just think the wheels of justice turn slowly sometimes.
Not in this case. If we've been talking about this for 70 years plus, and we know that black people don't get equal treatment across the board, it's just kind of one of those things that we know, and we kind of just, we got to get this money to get more money, and it's the grind, the persistent grind that all black people have to go through, and it's the reason why we're so tired.
That is facts. You said a word right there. But here's the thing, in saying that too.
And when does it change? Because if my grandmother, who's 86, feels this way, and she's 86, okay.
But here's the thing, to say that I'm not saying there's been enough change, but to say there's been no change, or that us pushing hasn't resulted in something, I think
no, we
still have to continue to
and I
move forward.
Want to discount that, because there has been some progression.
It's a thankless job.
Yes.
I'm not saying that, and we may not get to see it in our lifetime, but I feel like it doesn't mean that you don't try and set things as right as you can for the next generation and pay it forward.
Right.
In small ways. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into this Byron Allen story about him still trying to buy BET. Does it make sense? Can we see a future with that? We're going to talk about that. We might talk a little bit more about that. Of course, we'll still get into those YouTube comments. Litty. All of that and more on the other side. You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Now let's say you owe me something. Yeah, owe me back like you owe your tax. Owe me back like 40 acres to blacks. Pay me back when you shake it like that, girl. Surely, say what's your price. Just to back it up, you can hold my ice. Now let's say you
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A Chicago man whose murder conviction was recently overturned is free after spending more than 12 years behind bars. Darian Harris walked out of the Cook County Jail after prosecutors